In case you want to migrate with your kids and you don't have access to the other parent, it would be very tough for you to relocate to another country, because during the immigration you will need like some consent signed by the other parent. Hi my good people, it's been a minute since we last connected here. I'm back and I have so much exciting things planned just for you. So before we move on, let me know what you have been up to in the comment section below. Now, let's jump direct into the video. Many of you have asked me, how do I apply for my kids' passports without one parent, or maybe you and the other parent parted ways. During the immigration, you will need like some consent signed by the other parent, who in this case is not available. So I have done some small research about this, and the video here is detailed on how you can do your passport application without the other parent being involved and the passport coming out without any details from the other parent. In this video, I'm going to give an example with a woman who wants to migrate and the father is not there to give the details about himself or about himself being part of the children's life. The mother wants to apply the passport for the kids, but the father's details are unavailable. Maybe because he's no longer in your life, or he's unreachable, or he totally left. So in this case, you want to travel with your kids, so you want the passport ready and you don't know what to do about the father part in the passport. First step you need to do is to, of course, all passport application processes you must apply online first before you submit the documents in the immigration office. So in this case, during the passport application process, there is these details where you have to fill the parents' details, of course, the mother and the father. If you're giving birth to a child and on the birth certificate, the father details are not available, during the passport application process, you will also not fill in the father's details. It's usually like XXX. But if you had the father details in the birth certificate of the child, and in this case you want to do a passport application and you don't want the father details to appear in the passport due to reasons known to you, this is where this video comes in. As you all know, when you're doing a passport application, you must fill up everything online and make the payment online before you go for the fingerprints at the immigration office. So the first step, you will be asked like to fill in the names of the applicant, and then you will go to the parents' details. So here is where you have the mother details, but you don't have the father details. The father's name is on the birth certificate, but you don't want him included because you don't know how to follow up with the ID that is needed from the father or any other document that will be requested of you, or simply because you parted ways. So in this case, what you do is fill in the child's name, fill in the mother's details. The father's details you will indicate as unavailable because you don't have the details. So after filling this in, you continue with the questions. The next question probably is the next of kin details. And in this case, for the next of kin, you will put maybe the person you want to relocate with, or your father or your mother, and make sure to indicate also the relationship of the next of kin to the child. So if it's the grandfather, you'll just indicate grandfather. If you are remarried, just indicate the other spouse as the next of kin if this is your case. This means that the kid's surname will not appear because it is unavailable, okay? So that means the names that you have indicated are two names. Let's say, for example, the kid is called John Doe, so this will be John Doe. Like there will not be a third name, okay? So after this, of course, you will wait for your day for submitting the application in the immigration office. That is where you go to input the fingerprints. So in this case, you will just go with the kids, and the immigration officer will definitely ask you why is the omit the details from the birth certificate, and I can see the father's name in the birth certificate. So in this case, you will tell the immigration officer that the father's details are unavailable. So they will just ask you, so you mean that you want your passport to come out with two names, like the kid will have two names in the passport, and then you will agree to that. And after that, you wait for your passport to be processed, and the passport will come out with only two names, as you indicated there. Remember, this is not that you're removing the name of the parent totally from the kid. You're just omitting it for passport purposes. Because I've noted that this is something that is really affecting parents who want to move with their children abroad, and maybe they lost touch with the other parent. In this case, I used the video of a father missing, but it can be either. It can be maybe the mother's details are unavailable or the father's details are unavailable. What suits you, go for it. Because the immigration process with children is really, really strenuous if you don't have the consent from the other parent. Remember, almost all these countries that you want to apply to immigrate with your kids will want consent from the other parent. There are so many forms you will fill about consenting to the other parent, the other parent consenting to you going with the kids alone. And note that this video is not to encourage people to get away with kids without the consent of the other parent. No. This video is simply for that person who is struggling to reach to the other parent because maybe he relocated or he totally cut you out of his life, no contact or anything. That is who this video is for. So it is possible for the immigration to respect that you didn't fill in the details of the non-existing part, the non-existing parent, because simply you don't know where he is or where she is. So I also didn't know about all this until some of the people reached out to me and told me, oh, this is what I did with the kids. I didn't have any problem. Because people before used to change names, like remove the names of the parent who is not there, but now you can no longer change a document like a birth certificate after you've been given. So in this case, what happened, the only way you can change is going through a legal process of name change. And this is quite a tedious, this is quite an involving process that you don't want to go through. So what happens is that I have come to understand that it is possible to just omit that name as you do the application. Just say it's unavailable, because there is no way you can access. If you are genuine, there is no way you can access the other partner, and then you will be able to have the passport without the other parent's details. But this will not change in the birth certificate. The birth certificate will still remain with the three names together with the surname included. So what happens is that in the passport, the surname will not be included because you didn't include it during the application process. So note that I am not a legal advisor in these matters, and this is merely my personal views and personal observations. Please make sure you do your due diligence before going through this process. Make sure you do your own due diligence. Make sure you consult the relevant persons before you go ahead with this. But this is some of the people who have reached out to me to tell me that I succeeded through this way and I didn't go through any problem. As a person who has relocated with kids, I can tell you, you need the other parent when you're relocating. If you have filled in the details of the other parent, you need the other parent hand in hand if the kids have to be allowed to go with you. So In case you don't have access to the other parent, I hope this has sorted you, and I wish you a very smooth process as you plan to get the documents. We have come to the end of this video, and I hope this information will be helpful to someone out there who is planning to relocate with their young ones, and you have been struggling in this area, wondering how to go about it. And I pray that all this works out for you good. Until the next video, goodbye. Have a blessed one.